Hey guys, I'm here to tell you a few things you're doing wrong with your hi-hats. If your mix sounds something like this, then you are definitely not giving the most to your hi-hats, and I'm here to help you change that into something more like this. Hey guys, I'm Byrn and I'm a music producer, songwriter, and singer, and I am gonna show you a few tips on how to make your hi-hat sound much more professional, natural, more organic, and have a bit of a bounce and groove to it. So let's get started. So I just opened up an Ableton Live session. I have a little bit of a song going, just pretty simple, but I'm gonna show you what it sounds like with straight hi-hats that have none of these tips and tricks added to them and just a basic rhythm. That's pretty straightforward. It's okay, but it could be much more polished and feel much more natural. Number one is going to be working with the velocity of your hi-hats. And what I mean by that, if you don't know, it's a little bit to do with volume, but also a little bit to do with the intensity of the sound. Let's pull up the hi-hats. This is our rhythm here that we have going. These down here will show you what velocity they're at. What we're going to do is change the velocity so that it sounds like it's more bouncing. Drummers tend to punch a little more on the hi-hats on the 1 and the 3 or the downbeat. You're gonna find the downbeat, or you're gonna find that beat that really makes you wanna feel it, and you're gonna keep that velocity a bit higher. So here's our downbeat, is this one. Everything in between the following 3, you're gonna bring down a little bit. And you can do that by just dragging these little guys down here. Bring these down. And you're gonna notice right away that you get a bit more of a bouncing feeling. So we'll just do it for the first 8 counts, but instead of sounding like this. Like it's so straight, but now we're getting a little bit of a bounce. Now I would suggest also pulling the 1 and the 3 up. So pull the 3 up a little bit so that it goes like so you get that kind of feeling. In this second half, we actually switch it up to 16th notes. So I'm gonna bring these down a little bit. And then on this last part, we actually have a little bit of a change up with the beat. So we can bring a couple of these down, keep this one up, and then we're gonna do something a little different with this roll here. So I'm gonna leave that for now, but you can now hear what it sounds like, kind of with the bouncy feel. That's number one. You can play around with the velocity of the notes of the hi-hats themselves, and it'll make the drums feel more alive, definitely sound more professional. So the second thing we're going to talk about, rolls. Especially if you're doing trap, hip hop, you really want to make sure that the rolls are sounding nice and organic and fresh and increase the intensity at the right time. We basically have this one little roll here that adds a little dynamic element. Down here you have what grid you're working with. Instead of using a straight grid, there's a little trick. You can go to the 32, because that's usually how I do more of like the roll-offs, and then go to the triplet grid. A little different, but you're actually going to create triplets. So you can take your pen tool and kind of just add those triplets there. So now instead of it sounding very straight, a little robotic, it's a little more natural. And I'll show you what that means. Instead of That's number 2. When you're working with rolls and you really want to add a little intensity, always use the triplet grid. Number 3, you can actually use pitch shifting for your hi-hats to make them sound really cool. And here's what I'm talking about. What we're gonna do is go to this little mixer here. I'm gonna find the hi-hat that I'm working with, and then I'm gonna go to transpose. Here's where a whole other level really opens up, and you can have a lot of fun with this. I'll put my little anchor dots here, and I'm gonna pull this down about 3 steps. So it kind of goes choo, 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 choo. That's great for the first half. And then I'm gonna kind of play around with this second half, bring it up a little bit, bring it down a little bit, and then see how that flows and if I like it. And then this last part, wherever this roll starts, I'm gonna put a point where it's ending and then bring that up about 2. So we get like a kind of feel. So let's see what this sounds like. The one other thing I'm gonna do here is to actually bring down some of the velocity of the triplet of the roll that I did and have it still kind of go so that we get that dynamism in there, and then it'll really pop. It's subtle, but it really does so much. Pitch shifting the hi-hats, have them tell a story. Number 4 is to have a few different hi-hats in your drum kit. Add some more sounds. We're gonna add some more hi-hats into the drum kit, make it sound a little more fresh, a little more diverse. I already have one set up here so you can see I use Splice to find different percussive sounds and then fill up my drum rack. I added a few of these other hi-hats in Splice that I liked. So we're working with a bunch of different intensities, ways that they hit the hi-hat, different instruments essentially. You can go back to your grid, use the pen tool, and then add in, these are the ones that I added in right here. Just in various places, you can double up. You can also take away from your original hi-hat. Let's silence that one and maybe silence that one. And let's see what that sounds like. As opposed to this guy. So I hope you enjoyed that quick little tutorial and breakdown of some elements that can really make your hi-hats feel more part of the song, have a little bit of a groove and a bounce to them, and all in all elevate your music. And it's fun to mess around with, it's fun to explore what makes you feel good, but those are some really key ways to make your hi-hats more professional. If you like today's video, please subscribe, hit the subscribe button. I try to post a couple times a week with tutorials, some live loops that I do, and just some general fun music production stuff. So, see ya.